Okay. We need to stop giving the attention to the negative students. We're going to start doing Student of the Week to get the students pumped up, to notice the behaviors. The Student of the Week will go into the Student of the Month on. We want to be constantly rewarding the students through verbal praise, personal acknowledgement, tangible items, dress down days, etc. Anything that will get the kids excited about being here. We're moving to individual accountability. So the Jeans Day meters will be coming down on the middle school floor, and they're already celebrating, and I talked to them about it during lunch. Because the way that we're going about it now, there's no incentive for exhibiting positive behaviors, because they're suffering for the few students that are bringing the whole middle school down, or the different grade levels down. So we're going to start awarding them individually. I've ordered wristbands, so when I'm doing dojo delivery, the students that earned detention will get their detention slip. The next morning, the students that earned their jeans or their dress down day will have a paper wristband, kind of like they give you for a fair admission, to wear their jeans. These are some things that we also must do. We have to be consistent. Everyone has to use Class Dojo with fidelity. We all have to follow the same rules daily. We can't switch out on them. Like last year, some of the kids used to call me bipolar. So I had to check myself, because some days I was in a good mood, and then some days I just didn't want to hear it. There has to be a balance, because they're going to be watching us, and their behaviors is going to be a reflection of how we treat them. Also with the dojo, if only one person is giving out the negative points, then it's going to be really hard for that teacher, because they're going to, oh, that's the mean teacher. Well, I'm using Miss Jackson because I know I can. Miss Jackson don't care if we do this, and I know that's the exact opposite. Miss Jackson don't care if we chew gum in the classroom. But as soon as I get to Mr. Jones' class, he giving me a negative dojo point. Yes, ma'am.
Is this just for middle school?
This part is specifically for middle school,
okay,
until it moves down.
To be clear.
But even just with rules, even when you're doing your flip charts in the classroom, if you have behaviors that you're moving a clip down for, then that needs to be a consistent behavior among the grade levels. We have to think about it. We're all on this ship together. So if we only have half of the people rowing on one side, or if the people on one side decide they're not going to row, the people on the other side is just going to be taking us back around in circles. So we need to move forward together. Visibility, whether you're in the middle school, the smaller, intermediate, or primary, you need to be at your doors. When you're doing class changes in 3rd and 5th, you need to be at your doors, monitoring the behaviors. Most of the phone calls that I've gotten with the intermediate grades, some of those students don't even have the same class, so the only time they're seeing each other is either on the playground or during class change. So we have to be watching those areas. We must be respectful. Everybody has bad days. We cannot take those frustrations out on the students and then expect for them to respect us just because we're adults. That's just not going to happen. As Ms. Brown said, everybody wants to be treated fairly, especially on that middle school floor, getting into, I would say, the 5th grade. That's not fair. She let 5 people go to the bathroom, but when I asked, she didn't let me go. He let everybody else talk, but he didn't let me talk. Middle school kids have a perception of how they want to be respected. So some of the things that you may get away with saying to a kindergarten or a 1st grader, it's not going to fly with the middle school student. We have to build relationships. We said it before, we say it over and over again. You have to show the students that you care. Building that relationship with them, they're going to want to learn from you. Like I heard a lady that spoke, you saw it at NTI, we saw it last year. She said, the lady said that I don't care if my students don't like me. Students don't learn from people that they don't like. As soon as they come in, it's a brick wall. I'm sitting here for 50 minutes, or if they're in smaller classes, I'm here all day. They don't hear anything that you have to say because they don't like you, they don't respect you. Ask them about their day. I try to ask at least 10 people on Monday, how was your weekend? What'd you do this weekend? And that's just me sending them in the hallway. I can tell you what a lot of the kids did on the weekend. I can tell you whose dad said they were coming to pick them up but never showed up. I can tell you whose mom went to jail for a DUI. Because I talk. then that's another conversation. Hey, how's your mom? Hey, you staying with your grandma? Is everything going okay at grandma's house? They know that I care. But in building the relationships, you have to remain professional. When I went from 2nd grade to middle school, the first thing I told those kids up there, you saw me on the 2nd floor and I was in my line. All right, come on, friends. When I got to the middle school, I let them know, I'm not your friend. I may be friendly with you, but I'm not your friend. Students will respect you when they look up to you. They're not going to have that same respect when they feel like they're looking you eye to eye. You're on the same level. So you have to remain professional with them. You don't want to cross that line because it's hard to step back over. Well, yesterday we were cool, now you tripping. And to them, you are tripping because you were their homeboy, you were their homegirl yesterday. We don't ever want to be their homegirls. We have to remain the mentors in the building. Everybody's so quiet. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So, I know everybody's asking now, so how will I handle the inappropriate behaviors? This is more so a middle school thing right now until Mr. Latka decides how he wants to do elementary. As of now, everything is staying the same.
All that stuff they would do in
Oh yeah, definitely. So the first one, you're going to have your nonverbal, which is your proximity, your eye contact, your snapping the fingers. I do that a lot. I snap the fingers, or I just kind of look at them. I can do the brow thing sometimes. Sometimes I don't try to do it, it just does it. Verbal. But when you're doing the verbal warning, you want to advise of a positive replacement behavior. You don't want to just say, okay, stop that. What do you want them to do? Replace it with something positive because we want to go to the positive. If you still need to talk to them after that, do a one-on-one conference. It may be come to the door because you want to pull them away from the situation. Come to the door, find out. They may be upset because mom got a DUI over the weekend. Or they may be upset because granddad was in the hospital. Or dad slapped mom in the face last night and they had to go sleep at aunt's house. So it may be something that they may need a one-on-one. But if it moves to the next one, that's the seat change within the classroom. Notice I said within the classroom. I'm going to try to get away from moving from class to class because I get it, I've heard it. I was in the classroom last year. It's hard when you have your class nice and quiet and someone just had a bad day in my class and I'm sending them to your class and then they just come in disruptive. So we're going to have to gauge professionally when a child just needs a moment to themselves or when the child just needs to be removed completely by me. So if you have a child that's threatening other kids, that's throwing stuff around in the room, it's probably not a good idea to send them next door to Miss Bryce's class when her class is nice and quiet. Because now I have 2 classes that are disrupted. So I went from having 25 kids to 50 kids that just had instructional time taken away from them. After that, if they're still disruptive, you're going to go complete an after-school detention. Teachers, you will now be able to administer after-school detentions. Notice that I put Thursday. Thursday will be the day for after-school detentions that you issue, because Friday I will issue detention still for the dojo. But in order to issue that detention, I need these steps followed. I need A through D followed. I changed it when I forgot to change the letters, but we know. I need that followed. I need you to attach the reflection sheet. If you don't have it, it's on the P drive under Dean Docs, and it'll say stop and think for your different grade levels. I need that attached. I need, on the detention form where it says parent contact, I need to know that you called the parent, because you know exactly what happened to make you issue that detention. The parent needs to hear that from you, because from me it's hearsay. And then I'll say, well, let me call you back once I get more details. Cut me out of the middleman, make the contact with the parent, because it's not a valid detention until you have made contact with the parent. Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yes.
Okay.
I have one parent I know in particular. I have called her last year and this year. She does not return my calls.
Yep.
Okay.
That happens. Document it in your parent call log. Because then you have it documented, send them an email. They all have cell phones. They all get their email. All right, so, but make sure you document it in your parent contact log. All right, let's talk about, real quick, about teacher-assigned detentions. If you get really mad at your class and you say, I'm giving everybody a detention. No. Then you've kind of lost your power. right? Because there's probably, not everybody exactly deserve that, okay? So you just can't get mad and assign everybody a detention. Also, if we get 25 detentions a day from the same teacher, here's what we think. Oh, Lord, we need to go help her with classroom management, right? Because the reality is, it's one or two kids that you have issues with. So let's think outside the box and see how can we help you with that class. All right, so, or how can we help you manage these behaviors because something's going wrong, because it wouldn't be normal for you to be giving out 25 detentions in a week. So let's look at the processes and procedures. Let's look at the conversations we're having to help that out. All right? Yes?
On this Thursday detention, will we be holding it?
No, ma'am.
You-
I will.
Okay, when do you need it in? Because, I mean, come Wednesday, we got all these detentions and,
Parents have to have 24-hour notice.
okay.
They have to have 24-hour notice. So you make contact with the parent, you keep your copy, the student gets a copy, and I get a copy. If I'm not in there, just slide it under my door.
So do you have it needs to be, it is, by that Tuesday, it needs to be for that Thursday, and if it's like that Wednesday, it carries over to the next Thursday?
If it's Wednesday, that's 24 hours.
Yeah, you can do it Wednesday, up to Wednesday,
Yep.
but if you assign one Thursday and Friday, it needs to go to the next week.
Yes. Okay. Is everyone clear on that? That's the only option.
Question?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have our teacher detention forms, and I want to make sure maybe I'm misunderstanding it, because I have a couple of students who I've issued detentions for, and so I make them come to my room and do things for me after school. Is that something that I'm supposed to be only sending them, to you, and you would assign the detention that would be on the Thursday now, or am I?
How's that working for you?
It's working very well.
Okay, keep it the way you're doing it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How do they get a Saturday detention?
I issue Saturday detentions.
Oh, I issued one the other day too.
So Saturday detentions will be administered by admin. Teachers will issue Thursday after-school detentions.
If a kid gets, if we see a chronic behavior with detentions, then the kid's automatically going to get a Saturday school. So many Saturday schools, we're going to move them on out to an out-of-school. We're going to move it on. It's progressive discipline. But y'all don't have to worry about that. Y'all can get us information.
So for the after-school detention, K through 5, I talked with Mr. Latka. He will hold the teacher detentions, the ones that you write, for K through 5 on Tuesdays after school. Middle school on Thursday. Now, if you're willing to stay after school on another day because you feel that strongly that that child just needs to have detention right then, you're more than welcome to stay after school with them. What I'm saying is, Mr. Latka will hold them on Tuesday. I will hold them on Thursdays. For middle school with the dojo points, the way I'll be administering the points, if you write a referral and it's something that I conference with the student, we've settled the issue, it's not necessarily a detention, I've just had to call the parent, they're going to receive 5 negative points. If they receive a detention as a result of the referral, it's going to be 10 negative points. If they get suspended as a result of the referral, they're going to receive 20 negative points. Say that again? No, because the suspension, I'll put it this way. A child got into a fight and we suspended them. They didn't get the 20 negative dojo points. So when we have the PBS celebration, that child that was just tearing up your room fighting a few weeks ago will be there because I didn't deduct any points. So that's a part of the consequence. So the referrals and the consequences for the referral will be tied to the negative dojo points. So we don't have students that are being disruptive in class at the PBS party on a technicality. Do we have any other questions? Because that is my last slide.
And you will be the one doing these negative dojos, not us.
Yes, I will be administering the dojos. If you look back here, the first one they got at B, they get a negative point. C, they get a negative point. D, they get a negative point. When you write the detention, that's when I give the negative points. As soon as I get your detention form, I'm going to go in and take off 5 points. So I'm going to